Welcome, beloveds. Blessings to each one of you. Here is another interesting session on reality. But what makes it different is that I'm going to discuss with you a very important, essential, yet different aspects of reality that we deal with on a regular basis, or the reality that we actually live in or operate and respond to our life from. So, this session focuses on the first reality, that is intrapersonal reality. Intra means within. So, what is the reality of your within? What is your inner world like? What is your inner experience like? What is this precious sacred space like? What is the infrastructure of the temple, of your body, of this space? And how much accessible this authentic space and you yourself is to the world and to the people around you, and how much of this authentic real space needs your attention, your care, your own approval and validation. How is your inner space like? Is it more based on the flows or waves of life that comes and goes and you keep on changing, or do you have a strong foundation within this sacred space of yourself, that from which you operate from a sense of belongingness, from a sense of your own worthiness, your own value, your own approval and care and validation? So what is your intrapersonal reality? For today's session, I have summarized this intrapersonal reality in 4 quick steps, and you have to make 4 columns after you understand the process behind it. So, the first step of intrapersonal reality is attention. In psychology, we define attention as something that you choose to selectively focus on or concentrate upon, which means that you are away or not paying attention from the other parts of the stimulus, but you are fully focused and concentrated on, let's say, what matters to you, or you are fully paying attention on one thing. So, in intrapersonal reality, this first ingredient, attention, what is the style or pattern of your attention? Is it like you focus on what are the things that really matters to you, so your priorities, and within your priorities, how much of your attention is divided? So for example, if your attention is on a higher scale, on a higher percentage on how other people are treating you or how you are treating other people, or what is the place of your family, friends, relatives, colleagues, co-workers in your life, and how much of that percentage of attention you are giving to yourself, your own care, your own routine, your own priorities and goals. So there is this scale or spectrum of attention, and in this spectrum of attention there are different important areas of our life that includes not just you but everyone in the world, which includes your family, friends, neighbors, community, focusing on your swadharma and your leisure activities, your hobbies, your everything that comes in this area of life. So in the spectrum of attention, keep all these important areas of your life and give it a percentage. This will help you to understand that where do you need to, shift or dial down the scale a little more, so that your intrapersonal reality in terms of attention is just focusing on things that actually serves you, things that adds meaning, value and good contribution in your life. Now we go through different phases and circumstances in our life. No need to have a predictability of everything, but for example, if you are in a phase where things are a bit chaotic, unpredictable, in confusion, some sort of loss, disorientation, or unorganized things are involved with people, with interaction, with your goals, then channelize how much attention you actually need to give in. Because if this attention in your sacred space within is going too much on the externals, on the outsides, then there will be difficulties on the inside, and that's when you feel that, oh, I'm just losing out on everything. I don't feel control of my own life. It's as if I'm not sitting on the driver's seat of my life, or I'm not being actively writing or the author of my life. Now all these things happens because your attention is going too much on the outside or too much on the things that you actually cannot control. So dial down your percentage of attention and bring it more in a state of interiorization, and the things on which you can control and on the things that matter to you, at the same time balancing on the other areas and aspects of your life. Second to intrapersonal reality is perception. So psychology explains perception as the, in simple words, the meaning you give to the stimulus. Now that stimulus could be not just people, situations, it could be as simple as a painting, or as simple as visiting a museum or a mall, or a dress, or a book, or any object. So perception means the meaning I give to the stimulus, the interpretation, the inferences I make out of that stimulus is the perception. So perception means meaning. What language or what meaning am I giving to the events? Let's keep here events as neutral, because firstly it happens, secondly or part of it or major part of it is not in your control, and what is in your control is something that we should actively work on and changing it. But otherwise, meaning of neutral events, because things or events in itself are neutral, right? So the meaning I give to the stimulus. So first part is, what is my language like? Is my language more rational, emotionally balanced, equipped with appropriate words, phrases, terms, sentences, or my language is too high, too inappropriate, or too much of heavy words that is just difficult even to think or to listen or to keep it here, and that's why it feels so heavy here. So what is the perception, what is the meaning, what is your language like in response to neutral events or any neutral stimulus? That is important to understand. Second is, how am I feeling in the gaps? Viktor Frankl, in his brilliant work Man's Search for Meaning, and he says that between what happens, so let's assume that this is the first stimulus, that the event is there, and the last stimulus is the resultant part of it, the consequence part of it. Between these two is the space, is the gap, which helps me to decide my own attitude, and that's the only thing that is in my control. So between what has happened and how am I likely to react is the gap, is the space in which I got to decide my own attitude. So that is related to the perception. From which place of my within am I operating? Like what is my language like, my interpretation like, my attitude and beliefs like? Is it coming from a sense of security, belongingness, worthiness, connection, authenticity? Or is it coming from the place where I'm feeling anxious, insecure, misfit, or unfit, or misunderstood? When you change the perception, the language of your intrapersonal reality, of your inner reality, then things will be more sort of manageable for you. Third ingredient to intrapersonal reality is emotional vocabulary. Of course, here my thoughts and perception is involved, but next to emotional vocabulary is how expansive is my emotional vocabulary. Is it just limited to, oh, I'm depressed, oh, I'm anxious, oh, I have this disorder, I have this problem? Let psychologist or any professional decide what is the nature of the disorder like. Don't just jump to conclusion based on what you see online, what you read online, or just based on the opinions and judgments of so and so people. Of course, professional help is something I would always choose to recommend to all of us, including myself. So, emotional vocabulary is it limited to just this few 5 to 7 feelings that I have, somehow learned from the trend or from the things that are going around, and by comparing myself, my condition, and my situations to others? Or have I really paid attention in studying more about the landscape and the spectrum of emotions and what is the emotion actually mean? So try to have a very expansive emotional vocabulary. So you use different feeling words for your inner experience. Now, first step in emotional vocabulary is actually recognizing what you are feeling. This is basic and I do this on repeat, but it is what it is, and it's a little difficult to practice, so repetition is always good. Alright, so recognizing what you are feeling, and what I mean by emotional vocabulary is just be conscious that for every kind of situation, interaction, person, event, for every kind of your own thoughts, for every kind of your own inner experience, try to have a different sort of perspective, a different sort of emotional reality. हर बार वो सेम नहीं कि मेरे साथ ऐसे ही होता है, या मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम मुझे ऐसे ही फील होता जा रहा है, या ऐसे ही फील होता जाएगा. Even every wave is different, every leaf on the tree is different. So keeping that thing in mind, and everything subsides as well, right? That is the nature. So just having this perspective in mind as in a metaphor, see that आपका pattern, आपका language and even आपका emotional experience भी different day by day होता जा रहा है, so that you are shifting on the higher side of the spectrum of the emotional vocabulary and use number of feeling words. Be very much curious of what emotional words you can use for, or what feeling, what feeling words you can use for the same emotion. So for example, by noticing your physical sensation, if while recording this, or suppose if I am on the stage giving a talk to audience, and I am having this panicky sensations or butterflies in my stomach, okay, I am likely to, or maybe if I share, then other people are likely to interpret this physical sensation for my emotional experience, and the vocabulary would be nervous or anxiety. That's what it is, right? But no, that's not the feeling, that's not my emotional reality in that moment. I could be feeling hungry, and that was actually the case and most of the time. So the thing is that we also misinterpret these physical sensations, and we are just limited to using 1 or 2 words only. It was actually hunger, but not nervousness or anxiety, whereas physical sensations were same but my emotional vocabulary was different, and so different was my reality in that moment. For example, let's say feeling very heavy in the chest, my muscles, small large muscles are very much activated, and feeling hot or heavy on the inside, and what you have come to learn it as anger. It could not be anger, it could be it could be some enthusiasm, some drive, and some physical energy that needs release, which I have been just holding on. So either there has been no exercise, not enough rest or sleep, no leisurely free time unwinding activity, and so end up feeling more frustrated, annoyed. But in that moment my emotional vocabulary could be not anger but maybe drained, exhausted, tired, fatigue, because the sensations will be same, right? Likewise, same thing is for, don't just jump it into depression or something or sadness. It could be grief also, it could be just being more of inattentiveness also, or not resting also. So have an expansion of your emotional vocabulary. Okay, and the last ingredient to your intrapersonal reality is response. So knowing what percentage of attention I need to give from within to without, knowing the meaning, the language and the tone I use in my own system, as in here, in my thoughts, in my self-talk, the perception part, have an expansive emotional vocabulary to differentiate that every physical or disturbing physical sensation doesn't mean I am on the negative side of the emotional spectrum. It could mean some other emotions as well. Then comes the fourth thing to my intrapersonal reality, how I respond to the stimulus. Because your attention is clear, your perception, meaning the language and interpretation, is clear, you are more equipped, balanced, appropriate in the landscape of your emotions here. So your response to stimulus right now in your own head, in your own body, in your own system will also be at least appropriate and on the rational side. You will just not sway down or flow like a dead fish, or just flowing in with every wave incoming in. So just imagine the beach, and there are so many waves coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. Is it possible for you, do this visualization, the waves coming and going, coming and going. Is it possible for you to pay attention to each and every wave? Are you can you just literally keep the track of it? And this metaphor is equivalent to reactions. For every single little thought of your own or something on the outside, for everything doesn't need your attention, beloved. Everything doesn't need your reaction. Everything doesn't need your input. So that's where attention, perception and emotional vocabulary helps. And so is the response now, because every wave you don't have to respond to or react to everything as in every wave in the ocean. Likewise, you can choose how you want to respond in terms of your own values and the kind of personality or the being you are in. But make sure that you learn to behave appropriately and very well, because it is our own responsibility. And I am talking about intrapersonal reality right now. So from within, how you are responding. Are you just personalizing whatever happens on the outside or even on the inside through your thoughts and memories? Or are you trying to practice to have this appropriate distance and non-identification to where you are and from what is happening, there is a distance. I said, no, I quoted Viktor Frankl that there is this gap in between. So have a benefit of doubt and use this gap in between where you are not identified but you are observing, and from that place of worthiness and security you are responding to the stimulus. So to this intrapersonal reality, beloveds, make 4 columns: attention, perception, emotional vocabulary and responding to stimulus, and you will have a proper reality and objective view of it, and see how you feel and what is a different way you have started responding to it. Do share with me. Thank you so much.